Box?
Box is back with another video. Millie, what are we doing on Christmas Eve?
Boys, for this holiday special, we're going to go through your favorite teams to see who they need to buy in the January transfer window. Varvar, Pala, and Ferns were given the names of the clubs, so they'll be picking who they need to buy.
For example, if the first round is Milan, Firms will have it. He's going to have to present his transfer, and the rest of us three are going to have to decide whether that's good or bad.
All right, fellas, let's get into it. The first team up is Manchester City. Who do they need to buy?
So I got Manchester City, and for Manchester City, because Calvin Phillips is leaving, I think they need to buy a central defensive midfielder, alleviate some of that pressure on Rodri, maybe even play with Rodri.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going with João Palhinha from Fulham. Oof. I think this brother, he's looking for a transfer in January. Obviously, he wants to transfer to the Prem because he's letting Fabrizio Romano know all of this. He'd be perfect to play with Rodri too. I think that's a perfect player for Manchester City to sign.
I don't know about this one.
How much would he cost, Varvar?
I think he'd be 60, 70, 80 mil.
What?
Yeah.
For a club like Manchester City, does that
80
is
million.
That a lot? Is that
80
a lot?
mil for Palhinha? No, that I like that's crazy. Because Palhinha, it does not seem like a Pep Guardiola system player to me.
That's why Pep Guardiola is not. It's good. I think you're wrong. First of all, that's what I'm gonna.
I thought you were about to say, I think you're right.
I think you're wrong. João Palhinha, just because at Fulham he doesn't need to do a lot of that on-ball work.
But who does it at Fulham?
There's Iwobi. There's Andreas Pereira. There's a lot more. There's players who do that
yeah,
more.
but-
Pereira ain't doing that.
The thing is that Palhinha is coming into Manchester City. His best attribute is probably tackling.
It's his only resounding attribute.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to really bring them to the next level?
Yes, for sure. Because Rodri's been playing higher up recently than last season, where he was basically just not moving from that CDM role.
Varvar, is there really a point in signing a player for 80 million if you know he's just going to be reinforcements? He's not even a starter.
He is going to be a starter because not every single game you need to have a midfield. Like, you're not going to have a midfield.
Who's starting though?
It's going to be João Palhinha, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva or KDB, either one.
So you're going to waste money to not start Bernardo Silva or KDB.
Well, no, Bernardo Silva will be used at right wing then.
What? But you're
That I
moving
can
all
see
these
more.
players around just
Bernardo
to fit
Silva
in a
plays
player.
right wing. Bernardo Silva plays right wing.
I understand, but you're purchasing a player that's going to just end up creating more positional problems than just using the players that you have and come back from injury.
That's how it works at big clubs, Millie. That's exactly
for a
how it
big player, but not for João Palhinha.
But we got, like, Manchester City just got Nunez, for example.
Nunez is way more advanced. He's way more advanced. And you already have Kovacic, you have Nunez, you have Bernardo Silva, you have KDB, you
So
have
why bring
Foden.
an extra midfielder,
Yeah.
you know?
Because he's the one type of midfielder that you don't have.
All right, boys. Pala, Firms, are we agreeing that this is the player Man City need to buy right now?
Listen, the way you just pitched that need to buy, I think João Palhinha to Man City makes sense. But now that I'm hearing for 80 million in January, it just doesn't seem like a good option to me. I'm going to say no.
I think he is a great player and he would fit Manchester City, but his technical ability is not up to par. So I'm going to reject it for that.
The issue is that Man City have not been playing well as of late. They need that injection of a player that will make a difference. And Palhinha is that player. So I'm going to say, yes, I agree.
They wanted to buy Declan Rice in the summer. You think that the technical ability between Declan Rice and João Palhinha is not that drastic?
I think it is.
Wow,
That's a big
crazy.
shout.
And I'm a big Declan Rice
That's
lover.
crazy. Bro, Declan Rice is 10 times more complete than Palhinha.
Of course.
You do not know João Palhinha, but whatever, it's fine.
Every time I watch him, it's just reckless tackles.
You watch him when
along the entire pitch.
But you see, because you only watch him when he plays the big teams like Manchester City, Arsenal, or Man
that's
United.
fair, that's fair.
So they're not going to have the ball. So it makes sense.
Manchester City is off our transfer board. The next team up, Juventus. Who are they buying this January?
Juventus, although I think you are perfection, I may have found a slight flaw. Firms, give me a second. I was originally going to go with a right wing back, but then I was thinking, might as well. We have Cambiaso, we have Weah, and I know Weah, Cambiaso, but we're not in Champions League. So might as well
Imagine my
develop
shock.
the young players. I think you guys could agree on that one.
Yeah, sure.
That being said, Fabrizio Romano kind of got to it before me,
Oh, yeah?
because originally I had this idea, but I mean it was already kind of leaked. I'm going to say Calvin Phillips. as a loan until summer, exactly what Fabrizio's leaking. A loan till the summer, and then we buy him for like 28, 30 million euros.
Not bad. I think that's a decent
I
choice.
think it's a good choice, but if João Palhinha is technically limited, then what's,
But Varvar,
what's Calvin Phillips?
A great man once told me, not a great man, by the way. A great man once told me, Serie A, bro, it's only Serie A.
He'd be insane for Serie A.
So?
But João Palhinha was insane for Prem, and we said no to him. So I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, but we're talking about
using logic here.
We're talking about different price tags.
Different price tags, and we're talking about Juventus. This isn't Manchester City.
That's
30
true.
mil to Juventus is more than 80 mil to Manchester City.
But they're not buying him
No.
for 30 million. They're not
Yes,
going to buy
it
him
is.
now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No.
Are you crazy? Manchester City can spend 80 mil like it's nothing.
Looking at the move by itself as a loan with option to buy, I think that's a good value deal for Juventus.
It's a good value deal. But
be a good
80
value
mil,
for anyone.
Whatever. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna talk about João Palhinha.
I'll give you guys free like counter to me. I think having an English player in the team coming from the Prem that has only played for what he's only played at Leeds and Manchester City in his whole
Yeah.
career, like that's sketchy.
He's gonna walk in and be the most physically imposing mid maybe in Serie A
And
already.
what
He's
if
not.
he's unfit because he's uncomfortable in Serie A? Because it's a completely different league, different play style.
You guys are
He's
switching points.
uncomfortable playing against 35-year-olds. Oh my God. Your players
That
are
happens.
all garbage. It doesn't happen.
You cannot
when's the
generalize.
last player
You
that came
cannot-
from Prem that's Ruben Loftus-Cheek looks like a physical demon
But
in that
he's
league.
Because he's
not
given an
6'4",
opportunity at
Varvar.
18.
He's 6'4", but Calvin Phillips is more physically imposing than Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Tonali, which was Tonali
That's
at Manchester
Serie A Prem.
Tonali came to your league and made your league look worse than Serie A.
Are you crazy? Tonali was garbage at Newcastle at the beginning of the year.
Paqueta went from being a Serie A
That's
reject,
5 years later.
Serie A reject to City's about to buy him for
5 years
100
later.
Just look at Salah, Alisson, all the Serie A products. Rudiger back at Chelsea. These guys are ballers.
You're
They
going
cooked in the
half a
Prem.
decade ago.
That's their ballers.
Oh my God.
I mean,
You cannot generalize a whole league and say they're garbage, Varvar. I'm sorry. You
I
cannot
can,
do that.
and I'm doing it right now.
No. Calvin Phillips will not walk into Serie A and just casually be the best midfielder there.
If he's at Juventus, he might be though.
I mean,
the best midfielder at
Definitely
Juventus.
best midfielder at Juventus, 1,000%.
I don't know about that.
okay, this-
no,
this-
no.
Bro, don't compare Locatelli to Calvin Phillips, who starts almost every single game for England in the crucial
England,
games.
mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, mumbo jumbo. Okay, yeah, for sure.
All right, boys. Are we agreeing? Is this the player that Juventus need to sign?
I think Calvin Phillips would be a good addition to Juventus. I don't know if he's the perfect player, but I don't see anybody else in the transfer market that could fit that position. So I might have to agree with this.
I'm going to agree with it also. I think we'll come back to this in about a year's time when Pala thinks Calvin Phillips is the best midfielder in Serie A, and we're going to do this.
Purely from a value perspective, I agree this is a good transfer. Juventus need to do this. This is a top player, and they're going to be getting him on loan. Up next, we have Bayern Munich. Who do they need to sign?
Bayern Munich, what a team. They have made excellent additions through the years, but there's one position that keeps popping up, and that's the number 6 role. Tuchel has not found his number 6. His DM is inexistent right now. Kimmich has been playing right back sometimes with Leimer. And I think the perfect player to bring in is a French guy from Nice, Kefren Thuram. Millie, you might be
What a player.
familiar.
Quel jugador.
I think
Millie, I think, has never watched his brother play. He's just basing it off the last name.
No. Every time Marcus Thuram reposts his brother's stories. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I see that.
Maybe there was a FIFA dual
Promo.
brother
Yeah,
card
yeah.
released.
the Hoyland brothers too.
They
But
know ball, man. They know ball.
I think if Thuram goes to Bayern, which is very possible, I think 40 million, maybe 50 million could get the deal done. I think this guy would cook because he could play DM. He could move up. He progresses the ball. He's one of the best at it. I think this guy might be
Look,
the
as
the
long
real
as
deal.
Kimmich is stuck as far as possible from CDM.
I don't know why Varvar, you
Kimmich
don't rate
is
Kimmich.
maybe, and Bayern fans will agree with me in the comments.
No, they won't.
Kimmich is a terrible defensive midfielder.
They
Like,
won't.
terrible. Watch this guy try and defend the counter. It's like I'm watching my nonna try and stay out there and try and defend the counter. It's
No.
maybe the worst thing I've ever watched in my life.
That's a
I
little
actually
harsh.
feel bad for the guy watching him try and counter.
I
because
think
there's
you
nothing he can do.
Varvar, I think you're misprofiling Kimmich because he is not a defensive mid. I agree with you, but his best attributes are his mentality, first of all, his passing ability.
That's when a player's garbage, his
Again.
best mentality, his best attribute is
his
mentality.
technical ability is not elite. You don't think so?
McTominay's best attribute is mentality.
McTominay and Kimmich.
The Kimmich slander will not be tolerated here. Firms, why do you think Kefren Turam needs to play for Bayern.
Because he's a physical player. Like, he's 6'3", I think. Brother could progress the ball like a horse. Like, I've never seen someone run like that. He has the technical abilities. This guy's a beast.
As much as I would like to see Turam play on a top team, I think Nice are going to hold on to him until at least the summer, finish out the season. But that would be one heck of a signing for Bayern Munich. Boys, let's give our votes.
The only thing, Firms, because profile, like if this was FM and then it was a open season to get people, I think profile, you found the exact profile that Bayern need. So if you can find somebody else that's actually available in the market, but do I think this is going to happen? No. Overall, I'm going to have to say no, because I don't think he's going to Bayern this January. I'm
going to reject this purely off the fact that I don't think he's the right player. He's not a sitter. He's not what they need.
No, he's not.
He's not a player that's just going to, like, he's not Rodri or Declan Rice. He's not going to sit in front of the defensive line. He wants to go forward.
But Bayern is like, their best attributes is going forward. So you need someone to progress the ball with.
Currently, who's progressing that ball?
Pala and Varvar disagree, but Firms, I am going to agree with you. I think Kefren Turam is one of the best players for Bayern to buy. I don't know if it may happen this January, but it may happen eventually. I think that is a top buy.
Sounds good, Millie. And I think it's your turn now. I think we gave you a special team.
Boys, I think you know what team is coming up. It is my beloved Inter. I think for this, I was thinking maybe striker. We have Arnautovic and Sanchez that have not done anything at all for half a season. But we cannot afford any striker. So, I say wing back. Tejan Buchanan, bring him to the Nerazzurri. We need reinforcements. We need a replacement for Quadrado. Bring the Canadian Don to the San Siro.
Yeah, Millie, the prototype of a wing back, like, that Inter was trying to look for is literally him, I think.
I think that's a perfect player, wing-back player that'll come into the team. Won't start right away, but will be a contributing factor down the stretch. Quadrado is just too much of an uncertainty. He's going to get surgery now. We won't have that reinforcement on the wing-back. Bring Buchanan home.
I think he's left-footed. No, he's not. That doesn't fit your wing-back role.
He's not left-footed.
We play him on the left anyways.
He's left-footed?
He's left-footed.
Oh.
Why would you play him off the left when you have Di Marco?
Because we would probably switch over Di Marco playing on the right.
No,
but
but
he's able to play
a
on
left
the right.
footer on the right, wing back.
But he plays inverted sometimes. Like during the game, Inzaghi inverts his wing backs.
Where does Dumfries go? He's shipped off.
Dumfries, you could ship him out too. If any of these teams need a January transfer signing, you know where to go. Dumfries is your guy.
You're hating on Dumfries too much. He's actually pretty good.
Wait a minute. Me and Millie used to defend Dumfries, and you guys used to dump on him.
Yeah,
no,
I still
never dumped on him.
No, I dump him still. Yeah.
He's too inconsistent. He doesn't play well in big games. He ghosts, especially recently. He ghosts a lot. So I think getting a reinforcement that covers his position or both sides of the pitch, I think that's what Inter needs to focus on. I would love a striker, but Lautaro and Thuram, they're doing the job already.
If you guys weren't so broke,
yeah,
Jeremy Frimpong would have been perfect.
I would have loved Jeremy Frimpong.
But you guys are broke, so Tejan Buchanan, you're gonna have to settle.
I think Buchanan has a higher ceiling
than who?
Frimpong.
Whoa. I mean, I hope he hits that ceiling at Inter. I
don't know if it's because we watch him versus Panama, but when we watch him for Canada, the guy has insane talent. Like,
I think it's the flair.
It might be the flair, but I'm not usually one to be mistaken by flair.
That's true.
Look, it depends how much you're buying. What's the price here, Millie, you think?
I would say 20 million.
Okay, that's not happening.
I think
I think 20
more.
I think that is the price.
I think City, the rumors with City is just
50 mil
is to inflate the price. I saw that come out of nowhere. There was no way. There was no way 50 million.
Regardless, if City just sent one email to Club Brugge saying we're interested in Tejan.
Oh, he's gone.
Then no, he's not gone. The price is increased by 15 million.
Oh yeah, that too.
So regardless, we got to make our decisions, but this is in contention.
I like it. I like it. I think they should do it.
You like
it? I like it.
They need to get as young of players as they can because that roster's so old.
I agree. I want to see Tejan in Italy. I think it could be good. I'm agreeing.
I'm glad the boys agree with me on that one. Up next, we have Tottenham Hotspurs. Who are they signing in January?
In January, Ange should be bringing in. This guy had an insane first half of the season for Everton. I'm going to say Branthwaite at center back.
Yeah, not bad.
Romero. I'm not the biggest Romero
You're
fan.
not.
I hate
Don't hate on him.
Romero.
though. Don't hate
You're
on
not
him.
a
hating
Romero
on him.
enjoyer.
I'm hating on him. He's a walking red card.
He is a walking red card.
This brother cannot not get suspended. Like, it's actually
You-
mission impossible.
You
for
have
him.
to factor in how many red cards he gets in a season because he's out like half of
Yeah,
it.
I
That's
agree.
true.
It's a Casemiro tactic.
But he also he'll win you 3 games of the season.
When you how?
But he scores 90-minute headers every couple games apparently.
I don't rate him.
They're the ones that he does play.
Okay.
I
And
really don't rate him. I really don't rate Romero.
I don't rate him either. And you have Eric Dyer as backup center back. Like, you really need to shore up that center back position. I was debating between him, Gehi, and Todibo. I put Branthwaite
Todibo.
because I think Branthwaite, low key, is the best of the three. If I speak,
Better than
Knows the
Todibo.
Prem.
I think he's better than Todibo.
I'm not that familiar with this game, but to be better than Todibo, this guy must be a baller.
He is a baller. Trust me.
Varvar Van de Ven as well is also a good player, but it appears that he's out for a bit of time.
That's why even you need.
Yeah, but playing a 4-back, you only have 2 center backs. Romero being one. Romero's not like
Romero
Ange.
should be dropped.
No, because
I think so, too.
I think Ange loves Romero.
I don't think he
It's an
should be dropped. He's just a liability when he plays.
I mean,
he's too much.
He plays
of a
one
liability.
out of every 4 games because that one game he gets a straight red. He's suspended for 3 games.
Regardless of exaggerations, I think Romero is still a very good defender.
I think Branthwaite's way
a
better than
beast. But-
way better than Romero.
But how much would he cost? Because we're talking about like
40,
a young
50,
talent.
60. But Everton has financial issues too.
So they might sell. Yeah,
40,
right.
50, 60, around there. And you're getting a young center back that he came from PSV last year. He was in the team of the season of
yeah?
Eredivisie. Baller.
Does Sean Dyche like to sell his players?
I don't know.
I don't think he likes to sell his
He
players.
sold them to Trippier. He sold Trippier to Spurs.
All right, boys. Varvar's pick of Branthwaite to Tottenham seems pretty solid. What are we voting?
I'm gonna say yes. I think it's really good to reinforce that Spurs backline.
I think he's like a young prospect that you could count on. So I'm gonna agree too, Varvar.
And he's English.
And he's English too.
Varvar, I will agree. I think they should target someone like that in January, but they should also look at more experienced center backs to cover, like to be a bit more mature. But I think that's a good option as well.
But Spurs don't really buy older players recently. I mean, if you look at Paratici, who he signed, Udogi, Vicario, Van de
youngsters.
Ven, he's
Cool.
buying all
Better
younger
word.
players. It's not older. He doesn't need
Good for
older.
Spurs.
I agree, Varvar. Paratici doesn't seem to go for those older players, like you said, but I do think that is something they need to target. They need a bit more maturity in the back line, but I will agree. I think Brathwaite is the player to get. Up next, we have Chelsea. Boys, who are they signing this January?
It is no surprise Chelsea is on this list. Although they're not doing so well in the Premier League, all these big signings.
Which 17-year-old Brazilian did you pull out here? I'm like, you're
Listen,
gonna come.
there's no David Washingtons. There's no
Andre
there's no-
Santos.
There's no Santoses. I don't have that scouting. But this is actually one close to home. I'm gonna say Ivan Toney, which has been pretty rumored. It's no surprise, but bringing a guy that has experience to a team that you're just taking a bunch of different internationals, putting them together with a new manager, new system, and expecting it to thrive. You have Thiago Silva, which is your only leadership type player.
Can I give an alternative?
You can. Maybe I'll change my
How about Victor Osimhen? He just signed a new contract release clause into the contract. There's a what? Millie, what?
That's ridiculous. Why even bring up his name in a January transfer window?
Because it doesn't matter the time and date anymore. Because he has a release clause in his new contract.
How much is it? 150?
130.
Chelsea's not paying that.
Eesh.
130. That's in Chelsea's budget. I mean, that's not
Chelsea
that
does not have a
far-fetched.
budget.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. Exactly.
But for a guy like Nicholas Jackson to learn from, because I do think Nicholas Jackson could be a good striker.
I agree too.
Nicholas Jackson.
No, he's good, Varvar.
Nicholas Jackson is more worried about girls on certain websites than him being good at soccer.
Okay, regardless of the banter.
Football, sorry, don't
no,
come for me on
you
the
should
comments.
you should go for him.
You have Nkunku coming back, who could be a force for Chelsea. Does
he'd
that
work.
take time away from Tony?
No.
Different.
Tony. But you see, I think Nkunku would work better with Osimhen than he would with Tony.
Okay, well, we're talking. Whoa. Tony is not going to be worth 130 million.
Yeah,
Tony's
exactly.
80 mil.
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
is 80 mil in January.
I'm saying if you can get him for anything under 70 million euros,
I don't know.
But
I don't know
I don't know
about
if
that.
that's
wait.
going to be possible.
Yeah, I
it's
don't-
still the Prem at the end of the day.
Brentford don't need the money.
But they won't
70
sell
million.
for less. Like 80 million is the price tag.
Yeah,
I think
80,
every
I
team
read
would
80
go for 80
mils,
mil.
80. And Arsenal are also sniffing around. Like
Yeah.
it's not like Chelsea would get a free run at him, you know?
realistically for January, I don't like. Do you see Chelsea getting Osimhen?
No, at all.
I
It's
don't-
too
But
expensive.
January doesn't matter. It like the timeline doesn't. Ivan Toney matters because there is no set price for him. But Osimhen, 130 mil, it gets the deal done. Osimhen would be out of there in 2 seconds.
So there's no clauses. There's no clauses in the contract that say that Osimhen, like, if they buy at 130 mil in January, he has no choice but to go.
Well, he has a choice.
Well, yes, accept.
But he
if
would-
the ball's in his court, he
So
can decide.
in a Champions League run, Osimhen is going to drop Napoli after all the legend status he's
if-
There's
got.
no incentive there. I don't see it
you
happening.
don't see an incentive of 3 times your pay.
But
you
that's a
would leave.
money
For the
incentive.
summer, no, for the
It's-
summer.
Okay, but Chelsea have money. I mean, that's
I
just
don't
what
think
happened.
right now Chelsea
as a
does not have a
footballer,
budget.
as a footballer, are you willing to risk your whole career off a move?
What's a risking your? Well, first of all, he would get an 8-year, like 300K a
True.
week contract, which.
Well, they can't do that anymore.
Well, no, you could still give 8-year contracts. You just can't defer the payments
Yeah.
further than 5 years.
But going to Chelsea, what we've seen recently is that the players are not as good as they were before. They always struggle. They
Millie,
tend
you
to
have to
struggle.
understand a lot of these players, like, are just they go for money. I'm not saying any.
I get
I'm not
it.
saying certain players, but like a lot of players, money is a big incentive.
Yeah, it's a big incentive, but when you see your other team, like your former teammates playing in Champions League year in, year out, and you're still struggling to find a Champions League spot, don't you think in their head they're thinking,
He'll cry with
I
his
would've-
$100 bills like this. Like
Well,
this
that's
he'll
not
cry.
everything.
It's a risky career move.
It's a
to say the
risky
least.
career move, but it's if it pans out, a Chelsea legend is worth a lot more. Look, don't hate me, Napolitans, but a Chelsea legend is worth a lot more than a
I
Napoli
don't know.
legend.
I
don't know.
actually, that might actually not be true because the legend status that Osimhen had last season for a Nigerian,
he already acquired it.
For a Nigerian to
Very
take
good.
over Napoli, the south
Icon
of Italy,
status.
and
But
have icon status.
He
is
already
crazy.
got it though. Like he's already a Napoli legend.
He is a legend.
If he
already.
left for 130 mil, I don't think that people would
Believe
be
on the right terms.
although Osimhen could be an option, the player at topic is Ivan Toney. Boys, do we agree? Do Chelsea need to buy him?
I would do it because he's better than Nicholas Jackson, and for 120 mil, 80 mil for Tony, 40 mil combined for Nicholas Jackson and him, that's a good 1-2 striker. I think I'd do it.
I have a problem with this transfer because left back, there's a glaring issue there. Cucurella sucks. He stinks. Right back, you have absolutely no one. You
Reece
look on
James?
the... Reece James is injured all
I
the
know,
time.
he is.
I love Reece James, but he's not there. Left wing, you go somebody who doesn't even know how to play football. So is striker the best position that you have to fix? I don't think so. Nico Jackson is okay. I'm going to have to reject it.
Firms, I agree with you on those points. I also think that Chelsea's season is pretty much done at this point. I don't think there's any chance of them for getting European competitions. Wait till the summer, offload the players that you think aren't in the project, and get the main man that you want. Up next, we have Barcelona. Who do they need to buy this Jan transfer window?
The one thing that they're struggling with is their attack. They're not scoring enough goals. They're not connecting up top. And there's one guy who offers speed, goals, and just like he's lovely to watch.
Not Lewandowski.
Not Lewandowski. I think he should go. His name though is Adeyemi. I think this guy's a perfect fit. Nobody's even thinking about this. I think he would leave for 50 mil.
Oh, less than 50 mil, I think.
Really?
He's been a bust at Dortmund. I think he's an exceptional player. Don't get me
What's
wrong.
this market
Bust?
happening
He's
right
been
now?
a bust at Dortmund.
No.
Dortmund fans don't think he's that good.
Would you really let go of a player that you just bought pretty much last season? You bought him last season. You're willing to ship him out mid-season because he hasn't been performing up to par? I find that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, they're gonna make money off of him.
True.
I think they bought him for like 27 mil.
Yeah, but there's also another issue at Adeyemi that hasn't really gone to spotlight. Like, look, I don't know the guy, so I'm not going to say it, but it looks from the
brother.
outside
This is when you know Var is about to do something.
it looks from the
Egregious.
outside that he has like an attitude issue because he got called up to the Germany U21s and he told them, "No, I'm too good for that." So
Did he?
Come on now.
yeah, I
didn't know
swear
about
he
this.
told him that. He said, "I'm
I
too
swear
good."
I was in the room handling the Bible.
He was with them.
But I think he's an exceptional player. I think if he went to Barca,
He would cook. Imagine him
Yes,
against
but
Spanish defenses.
you have to like if you bring in a player like Adeyemi, you're stunting the development of Lamine Yamal. You already
Lamine
have
Yamal is on the right. He's developing.
you have
Don't worry.
Rafinha.
Yeah,
Rafinha's gone.
Yeah,
He
but
should go
Rafinha
somewhere.
definitely gets shipped.
Yeah.
Rafinha's an exceptional player. I don't know. Barca,
He's good. He's not good for Barca.
exceptional player. And then when Gavi comes back, where does Gavi play? Because usually he
Midfield.
would play in that left wing spot sometimes. Like
I prefer Gavi in the midfield though.
Yeah.
So
If you can fit Gavi, Pedri, De Jong, at all times in the midfield, that's
I think the
ideal.
conversation is, where does Joao Felix come into this? Because I don't think he really has a
no,
place.
he doesn't fit anywhere.
He doesn't fit.
That brother's gone to Al Hilal next summer, bro. It's already written, bro. That's the biggest Al Hilal player I've ever seen.
So is Adeyemi the choice that we're making for Barcelona this January transfer window, boys? I need your votes.
I wouldn't do it. Too expensive for Barcelona just for basically half a season of need. I'd rather Barcelona pocket that 50 mil and spend it on, I don't even know who.
Exactly.
But a younger 50 mil
Player.
some Brazilian's gonna pop up off a tree next year.
like
Just
Victor
spend it on
Roque
him and
or
then you're
something.
good.
I'm thinking more of a fullback. Whereas I would gravitate towards buying a fullback for Barcelona.
Like a right back, left back?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily see a problem with Adeyemi, and I think he could cook in the right situation. So I'm gonna say yeah.
I'm going to agree as well. I think the potential is there for Adeyemi, but at Dortmund, it's just not clicking. Up next, oh boy, Manchester United. Who are they signing this January?
Now there's not many holes in our team. Every
Yeah, because it's just one. There isn't many. There's just one black hole. It's
one
starting 11.
There's too many to count, but
Okay.
go ahead.
striker Højlund, no one's touching that. Okay.
Okay.
Left wing, no one's touching Garnacho and Rashford. No one's touching that.
Keep them, bro.
He's yours.
You can keep.
Right wing, I mean, maybe we can look. Maybe next summer.
Okay.
Midfield. Now here is where the issue comes in. We have Bruno. No one's touching Bruno.
Andrew Tate.
Kobe Mainu is the best young midfielder in the world. He's obviously a nailed-on starter. No one's touching him. Next to Mainu, though, Casemiro. Ship him off to Al Ittihad. I don't know. One of them is gonna take him. I don't know which one. One
It's
of them is
always
gonna take him. It's always there. As our insurance
Throw him in the
policy.
middle and see who.
Just figure it out, Casemiro.
Yeah, figure it out. Someone's getting him. I'm replacing Casemiro. Someone playing next to Kobe Mainu, but is not complete trash. Amadou Onana from Everton. I'm sorry I'm rating Everton. I just love Everton, what they're doing this year. Amadou Onana is a beast. Perfect Premier League midfielder, to be honest. And may I say, this brother has the highest potential possibly of any midfielder in the world.
What does that
Potential.
mean?
Potential.
How do you judge that?
Physical potential.
Jamal
He's
Musiala.
a freak.
No.
He's an
just jump to-
absolute
No, yeah, he is.
freak.
Yeah.
Physically.
Okay.
His legs are so long. This brother has Wan-Bissaka tackling for a center defensive mid.
Okay.
His technical ability is very underrated. He's technically there.
good.
He's there technically. He's not.
I mean, it's all right.
it's
How old
not-
is he again?
He's 22, I believe.
22. He's 22.
In my opinion, he's the perfect central defensive midfielder. Number one transfer
question:
target for
where
me.
would you be playing him? Like as a deep
Him and
six
Kobe Mainu.
or what? Like,
no, because he can't play lone DM yet. That I'll say. He can't play as a lone DM.
Mainu or Onana?
Mainu.
Okay.
Both of them can't play.
You're gonna have two Onanas in this team.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean,
That's
I
crazy.
already love one. Been our best player so far this season, in my opinion.
Doesn't say much.
Wild shout.
I want more Onanas. The more we get, I'm going to be happier.
Gonna build an 11.
Varvar, how much do you think United would need to fork out for a player like Amadou Onana? Because he won't be cheap.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
I agree. It will be a lot of money,
70?
but we do have new owners coming in. They're going to want to splash.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
It adds physicality, but Manchester United does not have a center back.
We do. Just wait for Licha to get back. That's the issue. Licha's been out since the beginning. He played like 2 or 3 games. Licha has been out, and we have not had one of our most, I would say, debatably, our most crucial player the entire season. We haven't
Who's your
had
other center back?
Maguire. Maguire's been arguably
he's
one
been
of our
good.
best players this season.
He has been good, but
Yeah.
like,
Is that what you
where's the
want?
In the
longevity?
summer, we're gonna buy a center back. Antonio Silva, Todibo, one of those we're gonna buy.
But right now,
Branthwaite,
Maguire is injured.
yeah, he's out for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a major injury.
Amadou Onana is the top name on Varvar's list. Boys, do we agree with him?
I think it's a little bit expensive. I would be hesitant to see if Ten Hag can fit a player like that into his team. But I'm gonna say yes.
I like him. He adds physicality. He might be too expensive, so I don't know if it's realistic, but I like it. I'll agree with it.
I agree. It seems like it's going to be on the more expensive side, but I think those are the players that United need to target. Premier League proven players that know how to play. Up next, we have the big ballers. Paris Saint-Germain. Who are they buying?
Luis Enrique has made it public that they have the money, which they do have the money, and they want a CDM / just any midfielder with Champions League experience. And I was thinking about options. There are other options, but Thomas Partey from Arsenal just makes so much sense.
I don't know. Varva, do you like Partey?
I think he's decent. I don't think he can be relied upon. That's my issue.
Yeah,
Let's
I
not
agree.
forget, this guy used to be in discussions with Rodri and Casemiro last
Well,
season for the best
I didn't put
midfield.
them
You put him in discussions.
Well, you put Casemiro.
Okay, Casemiro had more right to be in that discussion than Partey.
Well, Partey had a right to be in the discussion as well.
Like, I don't know if the difference between PSG being a Champions League favorite and what they are now
Is Partey.
is Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Even though I had them winning, I don't think that the difference is Thomas Partey.
Just for January, finding a blockbuster midfielder in January is an
tough.
impossible
They
task.
might need to challenge teams for João Palhinha, maybe. I think that's,
Okay,
that's
João
the
Palhinha,
one that's available.
It was on the block. It was on the block of my opinion, but I didn't put him.
Do you see Thomas Partey down the stretch being important for PSG if he goes, or is this just a depth signing, trying to cover your bases and make sure that you're not in an injury crisis?
First 6 months, Thomas Partey comes in. If he's good, you take the option to buy. If not, you got a good 6 months out of a player that fits Luis Enrique's system, because obviously he does. He likes possession. He was one of the most crucial players for Arsenal. I think it's a good signing. I will agree to it.
How much are Arsenal willing to sell him for?
I don't know.
Sell?
30, 40, I think probably.
I wouldn't take less than 40 for Partey. He was just too good last season.
Yeah, but he's
That's fair.
always injured. You can never... A team like Arsenal, you want a player available all season. That's why they brought in... You're forced to bring in a player like Jorginho because Thomas Partey's not dependable.
They've proved it again and again. Teams love gambling on injured players.
Yeah, but at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Pala, honestly, I think I'm going to agree with you here. I think Partey is a realistic transfer target for PSG, low cost, well, for them, and gives them pretty much a benefit for the next 6 months. So I'm going to give my check mark as well.
I think that the role of a DM is changing.
Yeah.
There's no longer like the same old, just stay at home, stay between your center backs.
Like a Gattuso.
Like a fifth defender, basically.
Yeah, and they're too expensive. So I'm going to agree with Partey.
We all agree Partey should be a target for PSG. Speaking of Milan, though, who do they need to sign in the January transfer window?
So this is one player I strongly believe Milan should target in this transfer season.
Well, I know who it is.
Who is it?
No, well, I know who the player is.
You will know him because he's
So then
been...
it's not realistic. Because Milan only
Right.
sign players that don't exist.
There's a tree. Is he realistic? No. Okay, so you'll know him. Is he realistic? Yes. Okay, so I won't know who this
Milan are scouting like the Ugandan 4th division to find some striker. Like, we don't know.
Versus just taking it.
This guy is an absolute baller and he should be on the wish list of Milan. His name is Guirassi. He's been scoring goals after goals after goals. He is a realistic transfer.
is. You don't have the money to buy players
How
that are
much
in
you-
hype.
He's
that are
15
in
mil.
hype.
He's 15 mil. He has a release
He has
clause.
a release clause of 15 mil around there.
50?
15. 1-5.
1-5.
But real question is, why would Guirassi join you over like Manchester United, Newcastle?
Manchester United. What are they doing there?
Milan's Milan.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that
Mr.
works
Inter.
a lot in 2023.
He should join a winning project, and that's at Milan because we're missing a striker. Because Giroud he's getting old. He's a good player, but he's not the right profile. Every Milan fan knows it, but they don't want to admit it. I think Guirassi would actually destroy Serie A.
I fear Guirassi would become a Vlahovic in Serie A.
Is that bad?
Current day Vlahovic.
Oh, current day Vlahovic? No, I don't think
I
so.
think Guirassi is honestly one of the most overrated strikers
No.
out right now.
No.
This season he's been. I'm gonna go all
Respect Guirassi, though.
I'm gonna go
Respect
statistical on you guys. Okay.
Go statistical.
This season he's outperformed his XG like 200%, which is extremely unsustainable.
For you guys that are confused, that's just by 2.
Yeah, okay. No, not by
2x,
2.
2x.
2x. 2x is, so let's say he was expected to get 8, he got 16. That's extremely
So
unsustainable.
he's a good finisher. We've determined from that.
I would agree with that, but every year before that he underperformed his XG. So
But to me,
he's not a good finisher, but this year he's just finishing
yes,
well.
I think he's having an anomaly year, but it's backed up. Like if you look at how he plays, like just eye test, this guy, like he's fast. He's a target man. He knows how to shoot. He's a good dribbler.
Boniface, who plays in the exact same league, is way better.
But Boniface is a very good player as well, and I think that's unrealistic if you're
Look,
saying
I
that
think
he should go to
Guirassi
Milan.
is realistic. I think Milan will target him. So I'm not going to say I agree to it. 15 mil, it's worth the gamble.
so worth it.
It is a gamble, though.
It's
It
a
should be
big
said, it's a
gamble.
Slight gamble, just
Big
because he's
gamble.
never played in Serie A, obviously.
Also,
but,
it's his only good season. It's only.
It's a
Very
big
up
to
gamble.
date.
It's
Yeah.
a big gamble.
but he's also played at Stuttgart for a while. So like
But he hasn't never put up these stats.
exactly. So is he Is this showing that he's improving, or is it like an anomaly? I think he's improving.
it's an
He's a good
anomaly.
player.
I think you'll sign him, and then for 6 months he won't do anything. I really don't think he'll contribute.
But that's okay. We have Giroud that's still there until the end of the season.
Who's that last strike? It's like a Mandzukic signing.
You don't want an Origi again.
No, we don't want an Origi. And
Jovic, they have Luka Jovic.
Yeah.
He's been okay.
He's been on kind of on form now.
Yeah.
He's getting there, but
This is on form. The bar isn't like.
He's been
so low.
scoring in the past 3
Barca
games.
Milan.
But I think for 15 million in January, like it's unrealistic for Serie A clubs to even spend something
15.
close. Yes.
So that means
I don't think
that
Serie A
that means
clubs.
Millie. What we said before is nothing. Because,
I think we're the anomalies.
So Tejan Buchanan
yeah.
So
for
A
15
loan
makes
option.
sense.
Loan option. But I
think it's
don't
reasonable.
I don't see Milan spending more than 20 million or so on a player that's basically just for 6 months and just hope it hits.
I don't think so. I don't think so because they're targeting a center back because we have an injury crisis.
Yeah.
So 100% a center back is coming, and a striker for me is our next step.
Do we think Guiassi is that player that they're going to sign?
I think he is because he's the only striker that's available in January and could somewhat be decent because 15 mil for what he is, it's a good bargain. I think I'd do it.
2023, 2024, 15 million for a striker that's in form is insane. Definitely Guirassy is a yes for me.
Yeah. Firms, I think Milan should focus on their center back situation. So I'm going to have to disagree here, but I do think Guiassi would be a good addition to Milan. Up next, we have the Dons. It is Real Madrid. Who are they signing in January?
Now, I mean, there's only one position. There's one glaringly obvious position, and it's not striker. Joselu's actually been pretty decent. Jude Bellingham can play around there.
They're going to win a Champions League starting Joselu.
Maybe.
No.
I mean,
No.
it's not. It's Real Madrid we're speaking about here. They can probably
do
win a
anything.
Champions League with anyone up top. And also,
No.
center backs. This is just, it's such an obvious glaring need. Alaba's out for the season now, practically.
ACL.
Militao, ACL also, he's not coming back. I mean, you need a center back, and I think you're not going to want to buy a center back that's going to be there for 6 months and then be useless. You're going to want a center back that's going to join and be crucial to the future of the club, fit the age profile. That's why I'm going to go for Antonio Silva.
Ooh.
I think Antonio Silva, Benfica are out of Champions League now. It's not like they're in that much need of Antonio Silva for the rest of the season. His closest comparable for me is Rafael Varane. I think it's a perfect club fit for him, even though I want him a bit at Manchester United. I'll settle for Real Madrid. Madridistas stand up. We here. Yeah. Antonio Silva, you're joining Real Madrid.
I like that, but I want to hear like Benfica fans in our comments how much they would sell him for, because I think this guy is gonna be like an 80 mil. Like
The thing is that
minimum 80
minimum,
But the
yeah.
thing is about Real Madrid can spend so much money because every year it seems like they literally only buy one player every single summer. It's like they're so smart with their spending. They have Endrick, Vinicius, Rodrigo all bought for like 150 mil combined. Like they're too smart with their spending. They have Jude Bellingham. You need that rock center back that you're gonna have for the next 10 years, and I think Antonio Silva is that guy.
So you don't think that if they buy Antonio Silva now, they might not be able to afford like Mbappe? Like is Mbappe in the
I think it's
picture?
uncorrelated.
Yeah, I think it's uncool. I think they've like not publicly said, but I mean under the scenes they've seen that they have enough money already put aside for Mbappe.
They've calculated.
They have an Mbappe like budget, and that's even crazy just to mention. It's probably like a $300 million budget just sitting around waiting for one guy. But whatever, that's fine. They just got a new stadium. They don't want to be playing. They don't want to be playing. Look, no disrespect, but Nacho Fernandez is not a starting center back for the new Bernabeu they just opened. I mean, they want to do a splash this year in Champions League. It's the first year at the Bernabeu. I think that they're going to do it. I think they're going to spend big on a center back.
I find that's a very ambitious signing, but that's something Real Madrid can do.
Real Madrid, if they want someone, they go get them. It's not, there's no, it's January.
Well, it's more if
will
Real
they accept
Madrid,
the
if
move?
Real Madrid call, you answer the call in the first ring.
You have no
No.
choice. You have to answer.
But Benfica are very hard to deal with. Like
Yeah.
if you're not paying 100 mil, he's not leaving. Look at Enzo Fernandez. Look at
And
Darwin Núñez.
I think Antonio Silva would finish the season out with Benfica anyways.
exactly.
Even if Benfica hold out, I don't think he'd force a move.
You-
Well, I'm not
product.
familiar with the contract situation because that could matter. If he has 6 months left,
No.
He ain't leaving.
No.
He has a while, I believe.
He's a while. He's still a young player, man. He's on
He's
low
locked
wages.
in.
And Benfica players the club makes them like it so much.
They
that
fight for the badge.
They'll re-sign an extra
Except
year.
when it's Enzo Fernandez.
Well,
Just
he didn't leave enough.
wants to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, he still left for a bag and a half, but I kind of like that.
I
do
like it too.
that.
And my backup option was Hincapie because he's not getting much play time at Bayer Leverkusen now, so it's like a cheaper
Is he?
option. Yeah, he's not. Only 7 games played. He's looking for a transfer possibly.
And that's no injuries.
No injuries.
He's a baller.
He is a baller.
Yeah.
Varvar, I agree. I think Antonio Silva, if Real Madrid are willing to splash the cash, they should definitely go for him. You got my thumbs up. Boys, what do you think?
Thumbs up here too.
2 thumbs up.
Wow, I'm just the best.
Antonio. That's why we don't give
2 thumbs down.
4 thumbs down.
Real Madrid is off the board. Up next, we have the Gunners. Arsenal, are they making a splash this January?
Arsenal, my Gunners, this season we have faced problems in mainly one position, striker. And not because Gabriel Jesus doesn't fill that role, but I mean, if he gets injured, and Kedia has stood up in big moments. But if you're talking about competing for a Premier League and a Champions League every season going forward, you're going to need some more striking force, more backup if Gabriel Jesus gets injured, or maybe even new starter. And who other? Well, I mean, there are other ones, but I'm going with Santiago Jimenez.
Ooh. Yeah.
Not bad.
18 goals in the Eredivisie. I mean, Feyenoord isn't as good as they were last season, but this guy is definitely not that problem. He's kind of like Gabriel Jesus, except for the dribbling that Gabriel Jesus has over him. He's creative. He can be a support type striker, score goals,
Not too expensive either.
and not too expensive. So worst case, it's not bad of a risk.
That's a solid shout, Paolo.
I think it's a safe investment. I think there's higher risk ones, like we mentioned, Osimhen and Ivan Toney, but this one is a more realistic one to do in January. And the guy's a baller for Mexico too.
He's been good, yeah.
He's been good for Mexico, good for Feyenoord. He's been good everywhere he's been, to be honest. So I think
He
it's,
played in
I
Mexico.
think it's a
I
good
think he
shout.
played in Liga MX before.
Feyenoord.
He's a good. Even Fabrizio Romano's tweeting about his brother, so there must be some.
Scores so many goals and like he has very good technique. I think he fits that Arsenal vibe to him.
Turns into a monster on FM every single season.
Yeah, that
Because
too.
I feel like at Arsenal, you don't need a direct type like Osimhen. I mean, Osimhen, it could be good anywhere, but you have a direct striker that runs in behind, or even like you need more of like a target man that's gonna play with the
Team,
system.
yeah.
With the team.
I think he could work.
But Paolo, do you really think the striker department is Arsenal's biggest need? Don't you think they have other positions that they may need to reinforce this January?
Let's put a different
Lens.
lens on it. Do you think Manchester City would go for Santiago Jimenez?
No, because they have Julian Alvarez, which is like
And Haaland.
which is basically a starter at every other Prem team.
But exactly, like you need to go for that level.
No, but
of
I'm
player.
saying Gabriel Jesus in buying Santiago Jimenez for a lower price, you still have Gabriel Jesus, which is your spearheading striker, and then you have Santiago
Jimenez.
Jimenez, which may on occasions be in form where he becomes that striker, or worst case he's the second striker.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. I think Arsenal needs that. Jesus is good though.
I think he's good enough
Yeah.
to be on a Premier League winning side.
Yeah, but do you think Jimenez would like take a step up in his career but not be a starter at Arsenal? That's what I'm thinking.
You're buying into the project, I think, and then
Yeah.
you're proving yourself. For Jimenez's perspective, you're going to a potential Premier League winner,
Yeah.
and you have the chance to become a starter because Jesus won't be there forever.
Look,
'Cause-
Jimenez is good, but I don't know if he's that level. That's my issue. Like he's not like top Premier League striker
If he
level.
was, he'd be 60 million, 70 million.
How much would he go for?
30 mil, 40 mil.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the echelon of which I would spend on him.
All right, boys, let's give our votes. Do we think this is a good transfer?
I'm going to say no, because I don't think that the difference between Arsenal contending for Premier League and CL is Santiago Jimenez. So I think it would just be a wasted 30, 40 mil.
I believe it's a good signing. I mean, he's been scoring goals and he might offer like a bit of depth for Arsenal that Gabriel Jesus has been asking for because Nketiah is not that guy, I think. So I'm going to agree.
Although I do think there may be more reliable options out there, I do think this is something Arsenal need to do. They're still in the Champions League. They're in a ton of other competitions. Premier League as well, they're still competing. They need the reinforcements. They have no choice. They have to load up in January. And the final team, we have Anfield's finest, Liverpool. Who are they buying?
This is another team that has been demanding for a CDM for years now. As soon as Fabinho left, there has been nobody in that spot. I mean, there's Endo.
I was about to say I'm tired of seeing those Endo memes on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw them too.
Of that beaver.
the beaver talking. But Endo's a good player, but he's not like when you think about Liverpool, you think about like Xabi Alonso, like you don't, CDM has been a position that has been great for years. And one guy that I'm putting in this position that I think they should go for is Florentino Luis from Benfica again. This guy's a baller. He hasn't been getting playtime at Benfica. Might be a bit expensive, but he fits that position perfectly. Good tackler, good technique, good passing. I think he's a good fit.
Look,
I don't know that much about this, brother.
Florentino Luis is pretty low-key firms. But the issue is, why is he not playing at Benfica?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't know much about it,
there must
but
be a reason why. Like, I know he's looked good on occasion.
Yeah.
Like, in certain games, he's looked very dominant, always wins his tackles, but there must be an underlying reason why this brother's... I think since João Neves started playing for Benfica...
He's taken his spot, yeah.
And João Neves
Has
is a
been better.
baller.
João Neves, see, that's a guy that I was about to put on PSG's radar.
Yeah, that guy's a baller.
But you gotta blow the back for that one. I think
that one's like 100 mil.
Yeah, 100 easily.
But we need some Benfica. We need some Benfica. Whoever's doing the negotiations, somehow every player that's coming out of there is at least 80 million.
Yeah, it's the youth academy. They have one of the best, and Florentino Luis coming out of that, he's like a special player that could fit Liverpool's plans. I mean, there's still like a little bit of a problem with the Trent defending. So maybe I was even thinking a right back, like a Sacha Boey. But I think CDM is the big glaring issue. And it hasn't even been an issue, to be honest. So
this season so far, I don't think so either. It hasn't been that much of an issue.
But just in the future, like you want to prepare for that. And Florentino Luis, he's young, out of the door for Benfica.
How much would he cost, you think?
Look, I think we're talking
20,
about...
30?
Oh, yeah?
I think around that, yeah.
I thought way more.
That's low. I mean, for a guy that doesn't start, Benfica.
I was thinking like 50.
No,
Because when
that would be the greatest heist in the history of all heists. if
But when he
Benfica
was
got
playing with
that.
Enzo, I thought he was like next up. Like people were talking about him. He was getting underrated. But now,
Look, Benfica is not charging 50 for someone who doesn't play. That's just not happening.
he was playing last season and they got far in the Champions League, I don't know.
I don't think any of our teams have someone on the bench that's worth 50 mil.
Speak for yourself.
Donny van de Beek. Go Manchester United!
United.
It's tough to bring in players from another league in the January transfer window because there's no preseason. There's nothing for them to find that time to fit in the squad. They have to be ready pretty much right away. I think you get someone from the Prem, it'll be more comfortable. It'll be a smoother transition. So I'm going to have to give this transfer 2 thumbs down.
And I agree.
We gotta sell. We need 3 Paulinhas.
I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing because I think Liverpool have proven that on CDM they're willing to spend because they offered 100 mil for Moises Caicedo.
Yeah.
So I think you can go for higher, more expensive options than that. I'd even go for Calvin Phillips if I were them. I think that's a good CDM option. Potentially, I don't think that City would give it on loan, but I think 30 mil, 40 mil gets it done. I think there's better options than Florentino.
City selling anything, even loaning to Liverpool, and when they're in a title battle, I don't
think
hasn't. City don't mind selling to rivals. They've done it with Sterling. They've done it with
in the summer.
Yeah, but they did it with Arsenal. They sold Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. They don't mind selling to rivals. Pep even said it. They don't mind.
In January, that's crazy. That's a lot of confidence.
And in a title charge.
Yeah.
So
Pala, it looks like a no for you. Can you confirm?
The only reason I'm going to say no is because Firms is thinking about long term and having an extra CDM with Endo. It's not a bad shout. For such a low price too. But I'm gonna have to say no because in a title race, you're going up against Manchester City. Endo or him, you're not really moving.
They don't
that
compete?
needle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I'm saying no, but or else it would have been a yeah.
So let us know which player your club should sign. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us create better videos. See you next week.
We're slowly but surely trying to push the 100K. Help us get there. We love you guys. See you next time.
Peace out.